Hey, what's up? This is Ross again with another movie review. And today, as promised, I am going to be doing the series The Vikings. And, okay. This series takes place at about the mid-900s AD. And it has to do a lot with a Viking called Ragnar Lothbrok. And what happens is the show is mainly what happens basically around him and his family. So basically what we have is a somewhat historically accurate series with fantasy elements in it. So, there really was a Viking called Ragnar Lothbrok, and he did exist at around 900 AD, and he was involved in raiding the English coastline during the late 900s or mid 900s, and that is what this some of what this series has in it. So at first we follow Ragnar and his basic journey to become the next earl of his town and of his tribe. And what we have is an older earl in power and during Ragnar's time, and Ragnar, at first, him and Ragnar butt heads, and it's affecting the way that it is affecting Ragnar's family and his wife and his child, and it's affecting everything else. Also, Ragnar is also suffering the loss of his daughter that he loses, and so what he has to do is basically find out exactly what to do to become the next earl, and how he does that is he devises a plan to go to England and pillage whatever he finds there in England, because they don't really know, anything about these English lands. So, and the show basically takes us into the coastlines of England, where Ragnar meets the king there, and the king and them know about the Vikings, but they're not very great at fighting them. The Vikings pretty much wipe everyone out in England that the king, England, that the king throws at them, at the Vikings. They pretty much wipe out fairly quickly. And with his brother Rollo, Ragnar and Rollo decide to basically pillage England for the riches and try to scare the king enough to the point where they will give them exactly what they want, which is more treasure. And at first, it doesn't work, but when they come back a second time and they continuously defeat the English that they come up against, the Saxons that they come up against, which is, I guess, what the English were called back then. The English army was called back then just Saxons. Then they would basically, the king would give up his treasure, and now Ragnar has enough influence over in England to send his word over in England so that it will reverberate around England, so that he will have enough power over in England as well. So then we get back to when he gets back to his village again, and his wife and his child are basically in danger even more because the Earl just wants to get rid of him. He doesn't want Ragnar around anymore. But Ragnar comes up with an even better idea to challenge the Earl in single combat, and Ragnar swiftly defeats the Earl and becomes the new Earl of his tribe. And by the will of Thor, he becomes the new leader and the new king of his tribe, and he becomes a very, very powerful force amongst the Vikings. And so what happens is that in the episodes, different kings from different tribes unite against a very, very weird scenario. Suddenly Rollo, his brother, is now power hungry. He wants to become the new king. He doesn't want to see his brother have all of the luxuries that a king has to offer. He also has been eyeing on Ragnar's wife, which is not good at all. And so what happens there is Rollo unites with one of the kings to possibly go to war with his brother. And what happens is that basically that leads us into the second season, which gives us an even bigger scenario, which means that Rollo is now at war in the beginning of the second season with his army and with the king's army, and now he is at war with his brother, which is very sad. And because Ragnar looked up to his brother so much, and now they are enemies and they are fighting. But Rollo is stopped by the rest of the kings, and they are sought out to an agreement to be able to pillage and pillage for treasure with the rest of the kings, and they will unite to pillage and to pillage the rest of England, and to go back to the England and to pillage the rest of the England. But the English king is not the same king that Ragnar faced before. He is a much more ruthless king and a much more intelligent and strategic king, and he is ready to face Ragnar Lothbrok in any way that he can, by trying to set him up or negotiate with him or do whatever he can to be able to take Ragnar down. And if that doesn't work, he has a massive army he's amassed to be able to take his Vikings down as well. So for me, it looks like this guy is kind of like he's more intelligent, and he's figured Ragnar out a little bit more than the other. Okay, and the other one thing is that Ragnar has also estranged from his wife and his child, but we got to see in the last episode that his son, much older and ready to become a Viking, has now united again with his father, and so is his wife. But his wife and Ragnar look a little bit more estranged. And but Ragnar is very happy to see his son, because his son has been away for a very long time. All right. So I've given you a little bit of a sample of Season 2, and I've talked about Season 1. It's a great series. It's a great show. I'm going to end this right now. I'm going to leave you with the fact that if you do not like the complexity of Game of Thrones, Vikings is your show. It's less complex, but it's still just as engaging as Game of Thrones. I will give it that. Thank you for watching this video, and you have a great day. Subscribe if you like my videos. Thank you very much.